right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Real Estate Talk with Cindy and Alex. My name is Alex Duradia with Century 21, serving Kern County. And I have with us our very own Cindy Fernandez, serving Tulare County. And as always, if you're looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate, feel free to reach out to either one of us. We look forward to helping you out and hearing from you. Cindy, welcome back.
Thank you, Alex. I'm super excited. Our second talk with Alex and Cindy.
I know, right? Hey, the first one was a little glitchy, but we worked through a lot of it and it has improved quite a bit, I think. What are your thoughts?
I agree with you 100%.
Right?
We have to have those bad experiences to make it where we want to go to.
And to learn from them, most importantly, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Do you think that's pretty similar to real estate also?
Of course.
All day, right?
All day.
I know.
Every transaction is so different, you know?
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree. So, our last topic, we left off saying that, hey, we're going to talk about rentals on our next one. So this episode will be all about rentals and investment and stuff of that nature. But before you and I dive into that, I want to ask you, what were some of your victories this past week?
Well,
because I had some too. So I want to hear that after you.
I want to hear yours too. So some of my victories this week was that I actually got 3 listings.
Wow.
This week. So that's amazing because of the kind of market we're in, right? Because we know right now if we get a listing.
You're the boss.
Yeah.
It's your world. We would just live in it, right? If you're a buyer.
Yeah. Exactly. So I got 3 listings, which I'm pretty excited about.
Okay.
There's no contingencies, which is good. Because a lot of the listings that are coming up, right? They're like, I want to sell, but I want to buy. No contingencies. These people are moving out of the area. And so pretty good on that. So those are my victories of the week. How about yours, Alex?
A little emotional, but I had 2 major wins this past week when I handed the keys over to my clients. And the common thing about both of these clients was that they were both moving from Los Angeles to Bakersfield because they've been saving for 6 months and one was saving for 12 months. And they said, we haven't been able to afford a decent sized home in our, according to our income and our price where we live.
In LA.
Yeah. So they come out to Bakersfield. We take them out. Long story short, we find them a nice 2,000 square feet home for $350,000, both of them in that arena. And I handed the keys over to the first family on Tuesday or last week. And right when I handed the keys over, she broke out in tears. I was like, aw, right? It never gets old. And this other family last night, same thing. The wife broke out in tears again. And I was like, man, this is just, I don't know, happy tears, I guess, but I felt like I made their day and, they were very, very appreciative. So
you're part of their day for sure.
Yeah. And I was like, man, I am so fortunate to bring such joy in people's life and family, which is so precious, So yeah, that was our win.
With that said, Alex, that kind of brings us to our topic, right? So you sold them their primary residence. So now you try to let them know about an investment property.
Yeah. I always have that talk with all my clients because I am such a big fan of investing in real estate. Honestly, I have a handful of my rentals and I think it's truly the way to build wealth.
I think it's one of the top 2 to create wealth. It's financial services and through real estate.
Wow. I didn't know it wasn't top 2, but I'm glad it is. So I think we're doing something right.
For sure. So that's good. How old were you when you first bought your first investment? Not your primary home, but your investment home.
I'll be very honest with you. I was in my early 20s when I bought my very first home with 3.5% down. And I scraped every penny and, slept on the floor, ramen noodles, the whole 9 yards. And then I ended up turning that property into a rental and made it an investment property. So that's how I got started.
So that's kind of how a lot of people get started, at least with my experience with some of my clients. They start with like something as a residential and then
Right.
they upgrade, right? They go in with that 3.5%, like what you just said, and then they upgrade, make that their investment home, and now they buy another primary bigger home to live in.
Yeah.
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 I think we all started that way, and I believe I have started that way too.
Oh,
So,
wow.
yeah, so when I first got married, we bought our first property, which was like, we thought it was like the best house ever. We're gonna live there forever, and no, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And then that became my rental.
Yeah. I tell my
like
clients that, I'm sorry. I tell my clients that, hey, you know, you're buying your first home. This will not be your first and your only home. And they are like, you're crazy, Alex. And I was like, okay, time will tell, you know?
True. I think the stats is like what, 5 to 7 years. Someone wants to upgrade.
Yeah.
Either they have a bigger family, or you know, they're relocating out of the area, or they're going through some hardship.
Right. Right. Yeah. I think 5 to 7 years, you know, but people, the family grows. I mean, lives are changing on daily, right? I mean,
All the time.
you know,
And
my wife's been on.
I'm sure that you have customers that put all this money into their home. They even build like a pool.
Yeah.
And then they're like, hey, Alex, can you list my house? Like, I'm thinking of buying another home.
You know, I actually have a listing in escrow because of that. They just finished their pool 3 months ago. Okay, he
Did
dropped.
they even enjoy it?
80. No, he was gonna enjoy it now, you know, but he's selling now. He dropped $80,000 on the pool, maybe more, I think. And come to find out, once that was done, his wife got a new job offer that they just couldn't turn down.
Job transfer, yeah.
And he's like, Alex, I mean, I don't want to sell this thing, but I don't want to deal with tenants either. And let's just sell it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
No, it makes sense.
yeah.
So I guess we both started the same way, right? We both started with a home that's our primary residence and moved up.
Right.
And I think my biggest purchase, and I want to know what your biggest purchase is in rentals, if you want to share that, would be the Aplex that I purchased about 2 years ago.
Well, that's why I'm always telling you, when I grow up, I want to be like Cindy, right? With all that experience and an 8 unit. But congratulations on that purchase.
Thank you.
You don't hear that often. So that's a great accomplishment.
Thank you. And let me tell you, Alex, and that's for also the viewers that are listening to us. This Aplex was like not what people like, you know, basically what an investor is looking for, something that has low rents, that you could see the potential of the increase.
Absolutely.
That needs a lot of work in them. And I seen that. So when I purchased them, they all needed to be remodeled. Tenants had to be, I don't want to use, you know, I just needed to be upgraded.
General maintenance.
Yeah, maintenance on the property. And then also rents were like at $650. Some of them were at $575. And right now, all the units are at, one of them's at $950 and the other units are $875.
That's a massive jump.
That was like a huge increase.
That's insane. That's great though, right?
But I had to put money into them, you know,
So let me ask you this. Let me ask you this from a consumer point of view, right? I mean, when I bought my very first duplex, I was scared. Heck, when I turned my house into a rental, I was scared. So did you have those, fear thoughts in your brain?
Of course. I remember when I talked to the seller regarding, because I happen to know the seller and we had it in MLS. And so when I mentioned to the seller, like, hey, I want to purchase the Aplex. And the seller's like, are you serious? You want to buy it? I'm like, yeah, I want to buy it. And I went home to tell my husband. I was like, oh my God, it's happening.
Right.
And yes, of course, you're scared. But looking back now, like, I'm glad that I was able to overcome that and forget about the fear, because I mean, the return on my money is amazing. And not only that, for those that are listening, is not only the money you're making monthly, but what you could depreciate on your taxes is also good.
Oh man,
appreciation, right?
Yes, you're taking the words right out of my mouth. You know, when I buy stuff, the top 3 things I look at, right? The rent growth. What is the current rent? How much room does it have to grow? the appreciation, and then the depreciation on taxes.
Yeah.
And it's a joyful thing when, you know, I mean, of course there's horror stories and we'll cover that also. But at the end of the day, I think if you hold on to it for long term, I think
it's gonna pay off. Yeah. And I want to say exactly what you just said. Those three things that I look for too is the growth. You know, like what we did, bought it for 500, increased it to 875. That's huge. Two, the appreciation. You know that you're gonna get. I think the average is like 3.5% per year. So
it's way more than that right now.
Now, I was gonna say yes. Now, on a regular market though, if you purchased, say, an investment for 100, the next year you would get 3.5%. So you would increase it by 3.5 average. You take it to another 15, 20 years. I mean, their money's growing pretty good.
Yeah.
And then, of course, depreciating it on your taxes, where you get some tax benefits for owning investment properties, which is great.
Right. And you know, when I started in the business, I read this quote somewhere on social media. I think it's by somebody. So I don't know if you know the author or if anybody that's watching, please let us know. But they said that buy land, you're running out of it.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
It's such a common I mean, dialogue, but it's so powerful, right?
Correct.
Because the population is constantly growing.
Yeah.
We're running out of space. And I mean, Bakersfield is I think it's on steroid when it comes to growth.
So is our, you know, I'm here in Tulare County, and we have like a lot of cities that are growing really big. Tulare has a lot of new construction, which, you know, is growing very fast. Right. I think there was an article that somebody published that the market in Tulare is going to be very good. It's going to appreciate in a couple of years.
Right.
But yeah, I like to tell people, do you own a piece of earth? You know, do you own land?
Yeah, that's the best thing. So let me ask you this, right? And let's just role play, right? And you be the agent, I'll be the client in this case. So, hey Cindy, you know, I am looking to buy an investment property. I don't know where to start, what to do. Can you help me out?
Sure. So the first thing that I would want to do is get you pre-qualified.
Why? Well, tell me why. Why would I want to get pre-qualified? Look, I have 100,000 in my bank account. My credit is great. Can we just check things out?
Because even though your credit is good, and I believe it's good, and you have $100,000 good, but we don't know how much power you have to purchase an investment home. And so a lot of the investment homes, they do require, I mean, again, this is all could be different, but it's 20%, sometimes to 30% down. So if you're looking at a property that's 200,000, yeah, you might be able to cover it with $100,000. Yeah. But again, a lender's going to be able to know, like, how many months are we going to need to be seasoned? You know, there's so many things. I'm married to a lender, so that's kind of why I know information about lending. So the first thing I would highly recommend is, hey, Alex, let's get you pre-qualified. Let's say exactly where you stand. So you're not wasting your time just trying to figure out, like, you know, what the payments are or what your down payment is. Yeah. And it's just better. It's kind of like we are the doctors in real estate, and we're not going to go and inject someone with some kind of medication without pre-diagnosing them correctly.
That's perfect. That's right. I mean, that's perfect analogy. So like what I do is I just tell them, look, let's paint a picture. And in order to paint a picture of your investment portfolio, it's crucial that you get qualified, because now we know what your buying power is on the lending side, how much down you will need, because sometimes you'll be surprised. You're thinking maybe you might only need 20%, but in reality, you might need 25%. But some clients are like, oh, I thought I needed 25%, but in reality, you only need 20%.
Correct.
There's a lot of moving factors, you're right? For that reason, I'd always recommend sit down, talk to your preferred mortgage broker, or reach out to either one of us and we'll get you connected with somebody.
Yeah. Right?
So that's that. But what is an average rent in out in Tulare County for, let's say a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom house? About 800 square feet, a house with a 2-car or 1-car garage.
I would say somewhere around 975.
Oh, wow.
For a home, 2-bedroom.
for a house with some front yard
Yeah,
and backyard?
$975 to $1,000.
Okay, so out in Bakersfield, about a 2-bedroom house with 1 bath is hovering around $1,250 to $1,300.
Wow.
800 square feet, right?
Yeah.
Now, what about a unit? What about a little apartment unit that shares the
So
wall with
like like a 2-bedroom, 1 bath,
Sure.
$875.
Okay. So we're not that
Yeah.
far out. We're not that far out.
Yeah.
Yeah. We are hovering around a 950, maybe 1,050, depending on the location.
Yeah.
So that's that. But hey, I know you have rentals. What were some of your how do I word this?
Bad
Things that
experiences.
you learned. Yeah.
Things that I learned.
Yeah. I don't want to scare anybody. I don't want to say, hey, it's a bad idea, don't invest. I think it's a learning factor, right?
Yes, but with every investment, there's always a risk, right?
Right.
So there's always something good. We talked about the good things about owning a rental, but there's also a bad side to it.
Let's
so
hear
one of the things is that if you don't, for me personally, for me to give advice to someone is if you don't have any experience with rental management, I would hire someone to manage your properties, because there's so many laws that are also protecting the tenant, and and there's some for landlords that you want to make sure that you're not breaking the law, that you're doing the right thing.
Right.
And so you don't have no experience, or you're going to learn, you're going to become a landlord, and you might do things that's going to cost you money. So either way, you're either going to learn on your own, right? It's going to hurt you in your pocket, or it's going to hurt you the other way if you get a landlord, a company, and they're going to charge you. Yeah. So that would be one of the things is, know a little bit about managing, because at the end of the day, if you don't take care of them, and that's one of the things that I tell some of my customers, when they're purchasing, you still have to put things into it. There's still maintenance to the properties. You still have to service ACs, because if you leave it up to the tenants aren't going to take care of that.
It's not theirs.
It's not theirs. They don't care. Some of them are great tenants. We have some good tenants that will go out of their way.
It's a 50-50.
Yeah, they fix it, right?
Yeah.
But I would say for sure, know a little bit about property management, if not hire someone.
Yeah.
I would think that would be my number one. What about yours?
So I'm very frugal with my money. A lot of my friends know that about me, and they're like, Alex, and people like you and other friends of mine in the business have told me, Alex, get a property manager. And I was like, you know what? No, I can handle this. I'm in the business. And
I have experience, Alex. You have that experience. So we get training on that through our
right.
work. So.
Right. So I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna pay $85 to this property manager. I'm gonna do my duplex on my own.
Yeah.
Right. I already had 1 tenant in there. All I had to do was get a second tenant. I got the second tenant in there. I did a credit check. I looked at their pay stub, the bank account, and all the normal stuff, right? And no eviction.
Sorry.
And then
my assistant's making noise.
Oh, okay. Is she okay there?
She's okay.
Okay. So no eviction. And then she paid rent. A month or 2 went by, radio silence. I can't get a hold of them. They're not calling me back. They're not paying rent. And then I get a call that says, oh, our bathroom is not working. We have an issue. So I go in. Next thing you know, they tore down all the bathroom walls.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, so it was a drug-related activity at the end of the day. We had police involved. I had them evicted. And actually, they were getting evicted right when the moratorium hit. So I couldn't kick them out because it was that very day. The sheriff went out, but then they got a call. So they're like, we can't do it. Cancel. So they got to stay additional 3 months. Then they finally got out. I had to go in and redo that entire bathroom. So it cost me about $8,000 to bring that one little unit back to life, right? And I was trying to save $85 a month.
Yeah.
So after I did that bathroom, I called the property manager and I handed the keys over to him. And now I'm just collecting the rent.
And you know what? And that's why a lot of people get upset because property management companies, they go through, a lot of, they could ask you for everything, even sometimes your blood type, but that's the reason,
Yeah.
That's, it's people like that that mess it up for the owners that are trying to
Build wealth.
manage. Yeah.
I mean, it was rough, and I was stressed out. I was so stressed out that it affected my daily business on sales, right? Because I was like, man, this is my first duplex. Maybe this is not for me. I was getting ready to sell it, but then my wife is like, no, don't sell it. Hang on to it. Just hand it over to somebody else. It's just that these property managers, they're professional. They know when somebody is, let's just say, BSing them. They can tell right off the bat.
Yeah.
We can't, or I can't for sure, So it's unfortunate, but you live and learn, right?
Yep.
Live and learn. So that's the nightmare. You do own rentals. What is your goal? How many rentals do you want to have? If you're open to share, I don't know.
No, of course I'm willing to share, through
that way we can have it dated and stamped according to this video, and we'll revisit.
My real estate career, seriously, I wanted to own at least 20.
Okay.
But and I have 10 right now, so I'm halfway there. But I kind of started thinking a little bit different because of what happened to me. I had a big nightmare a couple of months back. Had a tenant that left the unit paying $25,000 of bad rent, plus another $15,000 of repairs.
Wow, that's a $75,000.
Yeah.
How do you sleep at night?
It is what it is. I mean, it's part of it, right?
Name of the game. It's name of the game, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay.
So right now I just want to stay where I'm at because I'm really busy with the real estate. And since I manage my own properties, what I have currently is it's a lot of work,
It is.
Yeah.
So your goal to pay off what you own?
That is the goal.
To buy new units?
And obviously that's kind of like a retirement source of income. So when I'm older, ready to retire, hopefully we could just, the money that comes in from these investment properties, I could live off.
Why not? Yeah.
So, and I mean, for those that are listening to us too, if you have a goal of maybe say you make $5,000 a month and you know that you're going to be retiring when you get to the retirement age and you want to, keep that income, you could do it through real estate where you get, it replaces your regular job through rental income monthly.
Right.
So that's kind of like my goal is to, get income through that. So when I'm retired, I don't have to sell real estate. I could just go to the Bahamas.
Right. Sip pina coladas. Hey,
have a little cash cow coming in every month.
Yeah. No, I mean, hey, if you do it right, I think you can come out on the upside towards the end, which is great. So
yes,
that's awesome. Is there anything else that you want to add to this?
No, not at all. Just don't be fearful. Go for it. Own several, own whatever you want to own. 10, 20, 100 doors. Do it. There's
It's
a lot of programs out there that could assist you. And you know what? I went to Grant Cardone and he did the math one time and he said, let's just use 100,000. He said, if you buy a house for 100,000 and you're only putting 20% down, which is 20,000, how much did you technically buy the house for? And I would always say, you're right, but I would always 100. He's like, no, you didn't buy the house for 100.
Yeah, your tenants
bought the house for 20. Yeah, you bought it for 20,000. And I'm like, oh. Yeah. So remember that when you buy a house, you're not buying the house for the whole amount.
Yeah.
As an investment, you're only buying it for the 20%. If you do 20% down.
It's so true, right? I mean, I believe 3 or 4 clients that are in escrow for investment properties. And one is buying his very first investment, okay? And you won't believe what he bought. You want to guess?
Yes. A triplex?
He bought a 9-unit for $1.3 million.
Oh, wow.
I know. That's what I said. And he's like, Alex, either just go big or go home. I'm in it for long run. I want to buy the whole 9 yards. All 9 units. Write it up.
Yeah.
So I have that one in escrow. I met a client yesterday. He's buying a 2-unit, a duplex for $280, right? His mortgage is going to be, and he's going to be occupying one and renting out the other one.
That's a good one too, right?
great way to do it. So his mortgage is, I believe, $1,600,
Mhm.
also from LA. His rent on one unit is about $1,150.
Oh, wow. So he's going to end up paying like what, 400 and something dollars?
Yeah, and live in the other unit. So that's another client, and then the other client is buying a 4-unit, and there's so much room for rent. Like I think $2,200 rent gross increase. Is the ability, right? And I was like, dude, just buy it as time progressed, and you could only increase it 6.3% every year, I believe. Or if they move out, then just
8% in our area. I think it's 8% for us.
For you guys?
Yeah, I think it's 8%. You could increase rent up to 8%.
Right. I have a tenant moving out, and I called Ken, my property manager, and I said, hey, how much are you bumping it up? He's like, well, you can go all out because a new tenant, new contract, so it doesn't matter. So we're gonna be, the old tenant is moving out at $750. We're gonna be charging $1,050 for that unit.
Wow.
But that tenant was there for 8 years, so it's due for that increase.
It's due. Yeah, yeah.
Right. I did not own it for 8 years. I only owned it for a year or so, but they've been there, so I didn't want to raise rent, and pandemic and all that good stuff. So yeah, I'm excited for my clients, especially that 9-unit. I mean,
is he going to manage it himself, or is he going to have someone like a property management company?
No, he says he wants to do it himself.
Good for him.
Yeah. So I says, look, give it a shot. If you have any hiccups, give me a ring. I'll help you out with what I can. If not, we can always dial in a property manager. But man, I'm proud of him. Like I even called him and I said, are you sure you want to do this? Because he's like, yeah. You buy 1 or buy 10, the process is the same, right? And I was like,
yeah,
hey, that's a great way to look at it. So yeah, he's doing that.
Is he putting 20% down?
He's putting 25% down. So out in Kern County, I think the rule, I don't want to say rule of thumb, but right now what I'm hearing is any investment property, 25% across the board.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So they're out there, right, Alex? If somebody wants to buy an investment property, either in Kern County or Tulare County, Kern County, he's the man. Tulare County, you give me a call, and we will find you some great deals so you can get that return.
Absolutely. As long as you buy and hold for long term, you'll be fine if the market turns. Just
because real estate is a cycle, you guys. So right now we're at the top. Eventually it's going to go down and up again.
Yep, that's it.
This is a long-term investment.
Awesome. Well, Cindy, thank you so much for today. I really appreciate it. Is there anything you want to add last minute?
No, not at all. Just
awesome. What are we going to talk about next week?
I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about? Maybe we can get somebody that sends us messages, and then we'll go through the messages that we got last week, right?
Yeah.
And then we'll just start coming up with a good topic.
There you go. I can live with that. All right. Fair enough. Thank you, everyone. Thanks. We'll see you soon. Take care.
Bye.